Hi, it's Amanda with Always in Love. We are here with our special guest, Robyn Crawford, to talk about the audiobook. This week we are reviewing Sway by Adriana Locke. This book is about Barrett Landry. He is the mayor of Savannah and he wants to run for governor of Atlanta. He's used to everybody falling all over him, getting his way, getting whatever woman he wants. And he meets a waitress at one of the events and kind of falls for her because she doesn't take any of his crap. She doesn't put up with any of it. She doesn't give in to him right away. She doesn't do any of it. And this book is kind of follows them through their path, and her backstory kind of has a little bit of politics and things that went bad. So it kind of deals with a lot of different things, and she also is a single mother, so it brings that in. So it's a really great book. We encourage you to read, and Natasha will tell you a little bit more about why we chose Barrett Landry for our book boyfriend this month.
Barrett Landry is, in this day and age, the politician that we want, because he is going to fight for his heart, and he's going to fight for what is right. And he has a family, a dynasty that is very powerful, not just in the political world, but just other things. You meet his brothers and his sisters and his mom and dad throughout the book, and he's always wanting to do what's best for the family. And I really appreciate it when men are all about family and family values. And he meets Alison, and she's not going to put up with it because she's like, this is why. And I think it intrigues him because, like you said, Amanda, most women just fall at their feet towards him, and she wasn't. She was like, I don't care who you are. What are you on the inside? Get my vote, gain my vote, and how are you going to do that? And that's why I just loved it, because he worked so hard to fall for this woman that was a single parent and like help her out as, like peel back those layers for her. And it was he just had some pretty amazing moments in there, just because he never wanted to fail. And then when that time push came to shove, he thought he was going to fail, and Alison is who the person he looked to. And I really like that he used her as his support system, and so he gained her trust. And he overexplosion. There were some grapes involved. I'll leave it to you guys to read it or audio listen to it, because the audio version, I'll let Robyn go with that, because I loved this audio version. What do you think, Robyn?
So, oddly enough, this is a duet style narration. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with what that means, the female narrator reads for all of the women in the story throughout the story. So it's not just one chapter reading as Alison and reading those characters. In every chapter, she reads all of the female characters, and then the male narrator does the same. And I am not a fan of duet narration. I find it to be a little jarring for me when I'm hearing one voice and then another voice pops in and then pops out. And so that's something I'm having to come to terms with, because I know this is a style of narration that's going to continue to grow in popularity and to be used. With that said, though, the narrators, Kai Kennicott and Wen Ross, did a really good job of bringing to life Barrett and Alison. With Barrett in particular, I loved his accent. I really did. That Georgia drawl is just, it's intoxicating. And he did such a lovely job of not over-exaggerating the Southern drawl, which I think a lot of narrators have a tendency to do. And so I really, really appreciated his subtlety with that. And he brought to life some of those struggles that Barrett was facing, especially when it came to his political career and some of the forces that were being put on him, and the confusion and the uncertainty of what to do and the best.
Apparently we lost Robyn. So it does happen sometimes. I did want to talk a little bit about Barrett, and this book was so completely different. Usually it's like they meet, they're insta love, fall into bed, no real swooning, no real anything. The great thing about this book in particular is that for most of the book, he's trying to win her over. He's doing these big grand things. He's doing these big grand gestures. He's pulling out all the stops and really trying to romance her and make him see her as a viable candidate, or a viable suitor. And then the way that he treats her kid is one of the best. Like, he treats him as the man of the house, and it really should be like that. You should see that more. And he was just so accepting. It was so great the way that he just kind of, he didn't try to push himself into their life, but he just kind of went with their life the way that it was, and kind of talked to the kid, and Bet was like another shoulder that he could lean on, or he could talk to, or he could come to him. It was really great.
I think that one phone conversation they had, Huxley was, quite like, are you going to protect my mom? Are you going to be there? And that was just like, wow, you never really see the kid side of it. And I liked how she brought Huxley into the story and made him part of it. And Barrett really listened to him. And I think that was pretty remarkable, because when they do write about single moms, they kind of sometimes forget about the child. And I really liked how she kept him in the focus. I see we have Robyn's back, and so no worries. You were just saying how, but you really enjoyed that Georgia Southern drawl.
Yes, yeah, and the narrators just did such a great job. Getting back to the audiobook, did such a great job of bringing the characters to life, and of the struggle that they were facing. Alison with her past marriage and how that sort of played out. Her strength. This is a very strong female character. I haven't I can't think of too many female characters that have, I think, are just written with both strength of moral character, but just strength. I mean, this is a woman who does what she has to do for her child. And then, as you guys were just saying, her son is just, he's wonderful. He's thoughtful, and he's considerate, and he loves his mom, and that's all brought through both the story and the narration. They did such a great job of really bringing him to life.
Yeah, it was great. I really liked the way that all the characters kind of played together. The whole political aspect of this. So I'm not going to lie, I read this after the whole election here, and there was so much political stuff in this book, so much backstabbing and all kinds of random, somebody said that they were having Barrett's baby, and like there's all kinds of craziness going on in this book that's kind of separate from Barrett and Alison's story, and in a way it kind of makes him realize what she was talking about, what she was trying to keep away from her family. And that really kind of opened his eyes, and I really liked the way that even though it had this drama in there, it really helped their relationship in the end, instead of, kind of doing the whole, get together and then break up it and then get back together thing. It really just kind of cemented their relationship, instead of kind of, I guess, themes that we keep seeing in books where they get together, they have something misunderstanding or something, and they get back together. That was what was so great about this book, the fact that it just kind of, it helped them instead of hurting them, because they actually talked it out, and it was really great to have that sort of adult talk in this book. What did you think about that, guys?
That's something that's kind of amazing is I read, and I think between us three, we read a lot of books, and when the communication is the forefront in the story, we don't really see that a lot, because usually the love interest, you kind of lose some communication and verbal cues. And this really, I felt like the way Alison was written, the way Barrett was written, and just even the supporting cast in it, like his family and his friend, like the friends, and it just, everybody had a stake in the story. And I think that's what kept it going, because there was always this dialogue of communication, and you get a sense that there's a lot more to this family and a lot more to the story. And then, as you know, there's several more stories coming out with the Landry family, and I just really appreciate, and I really appreciate how Alison is written as a single mom, that she stuck to her values. you know, because Huxley is her life, and she didn't want Huxley to, you know, be left out and kind of alienated, you know, and just those moments of the gifts that he gives Huxley, but doesn't keep him, kind of lets Huxley kind of not know it was him, but then later on, it's just, I don't know, there's probably with this, I read this a lot, like, you know, early summer, and then I finally convinced you to read it just because I just had so much love for Barrett Landry that it's just, it was pretty, this whole book, and I like the way that she writes. I love the way Adriana Locke writes, because I've read several other of her books, and I think that it just shows her character. And Robyn, do you agree, or do you have other thoughts?
I do. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you guys have said. And again, kind of getting back to Alison, there was a point in the book where I just marveled at her confidence. I mean, this is a character who knows who she is. She knows what she wants out of her life and how she wants to raise her child. And more than anything, she knows what makes a good relationship. And communication is key. But there was a moment when they were at a dinner, and one of the sort of Barrett's side pieces approaches her and just starts kind of nagging at Alison for her current situation. Being a single mom, being a waitress, not making a lot of money, not running in these circles, these political circles, and, you know, sort of making it sound like in no time at all, Barrett will get tired of Alison and toss her to the side. And I loved Alison in that moment because she had enough confidence in both herself and in her relationship with Barrett to know this lady was just full of bullshit, and to walk away, but to do it very, very gently and very ladylike, with, you know, instead of just giving her the middle finger, which is what I would have done. She held her ground because she knew what they had, and what they had was strong. And so I loved that. I found myself sort of cheering when that happened, because again, it's just not something we see a lot of, unfortunately, in the genre. So yay, Adriana Locke, for that. Thank you.
Yes, that was nice. Having the really, really strong, know what she wants, know what her relationship is like, no insecurities, no doubt, no everything. That was fabulous. That having the single parent as a kid with a single mom, that knowing how much my mom took me into account and everything that she did and the relationship that she had and any of that, it was fantastic to see that in a book, because unfortunately, like Natasha said, you don't really see a whole lot of the kid's point of view or the kid's perspective, or you know, the mom really sticking to her guns about the kid. You know, I'm not bringing Huxley into this world if it's going to be media, if it's going to be crazy. And it was just really, really great to read the really strong, deep characters that she created in this book.
Agreed. And I love the fact too that these aren't early 20-somethings. These are people who are established. They've led a life. They've led a couple of lives potentially, and they're bringing that history into this relationship. And I think it just strengthens who they are as a couple, but certainly makes them, I think, even more intriguing as individuals, as individual characters, because we aren't dealing with your 22-year-old ingenue out of college trying to navigate life. We're dealing with people who have been there, done that, and life has hit them hard. So I loved that aspect as well, seeing the older character and having life play out for them.
And I think that's why this she intrigues all her community, and the way the author Adriana just brings it all together. And there's more, like this is a series, and you can read them independently or together. And it's just I just love Barrett Landry. And I think even when I did my review on this back in June, there was a song by Ex Ambassadors, Unsteady, and it just completely, to me, it just described this thing, you know, just give me a chance, hold on, you know. And that's just, I don't know, he's definitely my book boyfriend. And I reread it, and then I got the audio of it, and then I was telling you guys about it, because it's just, I've never had that dual audio, so it kind of freaked me out there for a second. I thought my kids were talking in the background. I'm like, what? There's voices in my head right now. But I like that. And I think that's, like you said, I think that's the way to go. I think a lot of audiobooks may be going to that. And for me, it was interesting to see, and I appreciated it. And can't wait for more from from the series and from the author.
Yeah, we can't wait. Hopefully we'll get Swing, see what's going on with that. Hopefully get to read about an athlete. I'm sure some of my favorite stories. So hopefully we'll get to review that as well. I can't wait to read Swing and see what comes in the future from Adriana Locke. Does anybody else have any last words?
No, just thanks again for everybody. And I'm so glad that we got Robyn here to help us with this review today.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys. I always love joining in. You are so much fun. It's nice to talk books with book lovers.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. We will see you again with our next review as soon as we decide what that's going to be. Enjoy. I'll put a little sample of the dual audio narration so you guys can check that out, see if it's for you or not. So it's kind of a mixed review on the audio. It is really different if you're used to the standard, the one chapter is for female, one chapter is for male. So it can be, like Natasha said, a little strange at first, but it does kind of grow on you a little bit. But check that out as well, and we will see you next time.
Mr. Mayor, I do hope you're enjoying yourself. It's been an honor to cater this event for your campaign.
Barrett shakes his hand firmly, and I can see the muscles flex in his forearm. It's pure arm porn as I watch the veins pop and his tan skin tighten.
Tonight has been exemplary, thank you,
Barrett says, letting his hand drop to his side.
I couldn't help but overhear a conversation between you and the lady by your side.
The vein in my boss's temple pulses, and I know I'm screwed. My stomach twists, a pit of acid churning as I wait to see where this conversation goes. I consider excusing myself, but I think that'll make things worse. Instead, I throw back my shoulders and brace myself, preparing to hear my boss and this gorgeous man discuss some impropriety I've unknowingly committed and wait to be fired. My mind ticks off possible replacement jobs, a way to make the kind of money that is currently going into a fund to help pay for the rest of my schooling. God help me.
I'm sorry about that,
Mr. Pickner says.
My employees are under strict orders not to disturb you or your guests. Please accept my apologies and assurance that I will deal with this and it won't happen again. I'd hope not,
Barrett says, his voice stern.
I'd hope you wouldn't reprimand your employee for taking a few minutes to answer my questions. This is a social gathering, Jim,
he says, looking pointedly at him.
And it is one I'm paying for. If I'd like to socialize with...
He looks at me with raised eyebrows and waits on me to find my voice. Alison Baker, I say, trying to look away but unable to pull my eyes away from his.
If I'd like to socialize with Alison, it seems as though I'm paying for the honor.
Mr. Pickner's face pales. He stumbles to recover but fails spectacularly.
I'm sorry. Mr. Landry, I had no idea. I'm sure you didn't, which is why I find your readiness to discipline her insulting. In business, it's best you have the facts before you leap into action.
He watches Mr. Pickner's face fall further and further